What's going on, YouTube? In this video I'm going to be replacing my transmission mount. Now the main reason I'm going to be doing this is because when I lay on the throttle from a dead stop, I can hear and feel the loud thump coming from the transmission tunnel. So I did some diagnosis and determined that it was a transmission mount that was given out. I went ahead and bought a energy suspension replacement, polyurethane. I got this at AutoZone. You can get it online on Amazon, fairly cheap, around 20 to 30 bucks. So, going with the video. So it comes with the instructions. Fairly standard stuff. You can always refer to them if you need be. Comes with a supplied mounting plate, the transmission mount itself from Energy Suspensions. Looks like it's good quality. Then the supply hardware for mounting to the transmission. So let's get on with the installation. Okay, so these are the main tools you're going to need for this job. Your standard 3/8 socket wrench, an 18mm socket, a 15mm, a 13mm, couple of extensions, and nice power tool will make the job a little easier and quicker. As you can see, I got the car already up on jack stands, both sides, plus couple of hydraulic jacks on each side for extra precautions. You can never be too careful. So the first thing you want to do is take off this 18mm bolt that holds the mount to the cross member. And next you want to take out these 4 bolts. They're 15mm, 2 on each side. But before you take those off, you want to support the transmission, because once you take this cross member off, the transmission will drop and it's not a good deal. Okay, so as you can see, I got this old spare tire jack holding up the transmission. I use this block of wood to help out in supporting it. So now I can go ahead and remove those 4 bolts that hold the transmission cross member in place. So that's one side. Okay, so now I'm on the other side. I'm going to remove the other 2, lower the cross member. Make sure you hold on to it before you remove the last bolt. Now I believe you can remove the mount without actually taking the cross member out, but I like to take everything out and clean it up and, you know, do a full maintenance job. Now goes the cross member. Next, you want to remove these 2 13mm bolts that are holding the transmission mount to the transmission. I already removed the bolt on the other side, so I just remove this other bolt, and the mount should come right off. Like so. Now this is how we should look like. You can go ahead and take this opportunity to clean everything up, get it ready for installation of the new aftermarket transmission mount. Clean it. Okay, so now I got everything clean and prepped, ready to install my transmission mount. Got my backing plate. Now one thing to note, the side that says Made in USA, you want to install that facing towards the vehicle, and the side that says energy suspension that's going to be facing the rear of the vehicle. So take it in like so. Okay, so you want to leave it loose like this, and I'll explain to you in a second. Okay, so as you can see, I got the cross member back in place. It's still loose along with the transmission mount. Now the reason I did that was so it can be easier to line up this bolt that holds the mount to the cross member. Okay, so now that I know that fits on and is lined up, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up the two mounts, the bolts that go to the transmission mount. After that's tight, I'm gonna lower the cross member, torque these down, and then reinstall the cross member and tighten everything up. Okay, so I got the transmission cross member back out. The transmission mount is fairly in place. I'm going to go ahead and bolt it down. So it's on there for good, and I know it'll line up with the cross member bolt since I pre-mocked it up. Okay, so now that I got the transmission mount bolted in place, I'm going to go ahead and install the transmission cross member for the last time. Now this hole right here, that's the slot for the O2 sensor harness to mount in place. One thing I forgot to mention, when you initially lower it down, make sure this is unhooked, otherwise you run the risk of damaging it. This applies to my car, which is a 2000 SS Camaro. I'm not sure about the LT models or even so the third gen, but definitely applies for all LS1s, more than likely. Okay, so I got the cross member back in its place for the last time. I left it a little loose so it was easier to line up the bolt hole for the transmission mount, as you can see. So now that that's in place, I can go ahead and bolt down the cross member. Make sure I put back in the harness to the transmission cross member for the O2 sensor, and after that tighten up the transmission mount for the last time, and that should be it. Okay, so that's the end result. I went ahead and lowered the transmission back in its place, so hopefully that'll fix that loud thump I get from under the shifter. Now I know this part will fit all 4 Gen F bodies, Camaros, 5ers, etc., auto or manual. I believe that might also fit 3rd gens, but I'm not exactly sure. I know that the transmission cross member has a different design, but should bolt on regardless. So if you have any questions on how it rides before and after, how much of a difference it made, I'll try to reply as soon as possible. So if this video helped you out, go ahead and subscribe. I'll definitely have some more stuff coming up soon. Thanks for watching. On to the next one.